All right, Shalom. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakar Hagadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. It's sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing this truth and sincerity. And I pretty much want to get into a small topic, pretty much going into growing up, basically, because in this truth, we are supposed to represent ourselves being like men, adults, and one of the things I have noticed that even in the world, even though you may grow up and by the time you hit 40 or and up, you gain wisdom of the world, but even in the world, they're still like children, or the fact that they never grew up technically because they still have the worldly, foolish, childish things on them, such as being petty, coming up with slick stuff to say all the time, oh, I'm better than you because I know this much and that much. That's all childish things. And that's one of the things that in this truth we're supposed to separate ourselves with, that to know that no brother is less than another, or for the simple fact that we learn how to be a brother. It's part of growing up in this truth because we're supposed to be different. So I'm gonna just jump right into the scripture. This is Romans 12:2. He says, "It be not conformed to this world." And why does it say be not conformed to this world? Meaning do not follow the ways of this world. And that's one of the things of growing up is not following the childish stuff we used to do. Because that's all it is when you get out of school. You seen all the childish mess at school. Then you grow up seeing even more childish stuff from from the adults. Just because you became an adult doesn't mean you actually fully grew up, because you're still doing the same wicked mindset or the same childish things that you've done in the world. And Jake brings that into the truth. Now, granted that because we're in this fleshy bodies, there's going to be some parts of us. And I'm talking about the sincere brothers. That's going to be the sincere brothers that because we had this fleshly part of us, we're gonna still carry some of the bad tendencies with us, because that's just what the Lord made it set us up to do. If we could get rid of all that, we wouldn't be in this predicament we're in now. But because the Lord set us up this way, we had to deal with that. But when it comes to this truth, you got guys in this truth, and that's just solely stuck in their old ways, stuck in um I gotta outdo this brother to be better than him, or I don't like what he's doing, or I'm offended by a lot of things because of this, and that. When you could just suck it up and just deal with it. He's still, if he's still pushing the same doctrine you're pushing, we should be all in one accord. Of course, you got a lot of guys that's just niggards, because being a nigga, we was all niggas back in the world. But guess what? Niggas still carry that same trait of not growing up into the truth. So that still makes them niggas. So I'm gonna keep reading. It says, "But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh." So when it comes to the carnal thinking, especially when guys that comes in this truth thinking they're gonna be top dog and all that, none of y'all renewed your minds, because none of y'all is thinking spiritually. Y'all will try to act spiritual and try to mimic the things we do, but you're not transforming you ain't transforming your renewed mind. You're actually just further plumbing it down the drain, because the simple fact that when you come into the truth, in this truth, you're supposed to know better. Now, in the street, it takes time. Growing up takes time, but but even still, when you first join in, I mean, like I said, it's a process. It's all takes time. I would never say that. any brother that just joins the truth just automatically just wipe off their things. They're still learning. But this is just one of those ways that if you're seeking your salvation sincerely, that when you come into this truth, you're gonna feel different. You want to be different. You don't want to be like the rest of this world that treats you like shit. You, of anything, you want to feel like you would want to feel welcome, even though you're new. But but guys got the wrong mindset a lot of times, so they don't come up with proper judgment. So when it comes to people just being offended out of nowhere, they can't handle a rebuke or so on and so forth. They don't know what to do. It's like a panic mode for them. So they retaliate. They become angry. They're not used to taking order. And that was a lot of our problems. I mean, you come to this truth, you're not used to taking order. This is why we follow suit. But this is what makes us better. So I'm gonna read the scripture right here, which is Job 38:3. It says, "Gird up now thy loins like a man," and to gird up thy loins, it means this. You pretty much basically pull up them big boy pants, be able to take the rebukes, even if it does still make you angry, because rebukes, no one likes rebukes, but at the end of the day, you'll end up loving it because it will make you better. But for guys that just can't handle the rebuke, y'all end up hating it more because you don't like a way a certain brother talks to you, and it's just if you're going off, and we tell you multiple times you're going off, we have that right to pretty much just drill it in you that you went off. Like we can't just be soft about it like we were the first 2 or 3 times that we tell you. And I'm talking about for that's pretty much in any camp because every camp has their problems. That's why we ourselves are still learning because these are the important things. So when it comes to girding up your loins like a man, you gotta pretty much just take that stuff. You gotta, even if you don't so called like a brother, you just gotta deal with it. He's still on your side. We're still pushing the same doctrine. Even if you so called don't like the guy, well, deal with it. Basically, don't be trying to plot and scheme against the guy who hasn't done anything wrong. But because you find the littlest thing to find something wrong, you want to use that to your advantage. That's being a nigga, and that's why camp leaders are put in charge to watch stuff like that. Even if it's not right away, even if it was last minute, you want to get caught. Especially since you can't hide from the Lord's eyes. So that's the probably the biggest issue with you guys is y'all just want everything your way, and that's being a spoiled child. And that's pretty much the ways of a child. And that's why you just it's it's just madness. Like you guys call yourselves men, y'all don't even grow up like men. So this is First Corinthians 13:11. It says, "When I spake as a child, Salaki, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child." So yeah, when you back in the world, you used to do the stuff you did from being a child growing up, or being a child going into an adult. Okay, yeah, I did a lot of fucked up shit. But here we go. It says, "But when I became a man, I put away childish things." And this is part of the growing up process. Is when you come into this truth, you're renewing your mind as the other scripture has said. So you're going to put away those niggardly things. Like you're going to cut out weed, you're going to stop adultery, you're going to stop a lot of the BS you did. Some of the stuff you're going to keep. That's fine. But if you got a real heavy problem, you need to reevaluate yourself before coming into the truth, at least, or I should, before coming into another brother's camp. You can still be in the truth, but you just can't be in the camp with that wicked spirit unless you get it off of you. So that's where coming growing up as a child, you put away childish things to become a man. this is one of those things. You can't just be offended because of what a brother said, and then just have a fit about it. Like, okay, you got offended, but you got to deal with it. If the brother's right on something, then let it be. Just let it be so. If you felt like the brother was wrong that badly, just leave it up to the Lord. That's why you. That's why we have faith. The Lord exposes everything. He'll show you everything. But yet, guys want to be offended, or they just don't, or they just want to get a guy out of the way because they want a certain position. You gotta work for that position. You can't just expect to do that. If you did, and if you so called succeeded, it was because of two reasons: because the guy was more likely was wicked, or because he wants you to do that so you can end up dropping yourself out. So you gotta be in this truth. You gotta be very careful of what you do, because it could be the end of you. So that's why I wanted to get into the small topic, is because yeah, growing up, and even looking back at the stuff I did, I can say a lot of things I did was fucked up. I ain't. I must say, I was not. I mean, I was never doing no drugs or anything like that, but I did things that was pretty damn dumb. And while growing up in this truth, um, it changed even a lot of, even I would say even a lot of, about a brother's personality. Not too much, but to where it's like, yeah, you can feel the spirit of the brother, or just a simple fact that you just different from the rest of the people in this world. So that's always an important factor in this truth. So with that, I just want to say shalom and death to this wicked society.